It was a cold, rainy evening when Sarah heard the knock at her door. She lived alone in a small, rural house far from any neighbors. The sound startled her, as visitors were rare in this secluded area. She opened the door to find two children standing on her porch. They were a boy and a girl, both pale with dark, wet hair plastered to their foreheads. They wore simple, outdated clothing, and their heads were bowed, their faces obscured by the dim light. "Can we come in?" the girl asked. Her voice was soft, but unsettlingly flat. Sarah's instincts screamed at her to close the door, but something about the children held her in place. "What are you doing out here?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. "Are you lost?" "Please let us in," the boy said, lifting his head. Sarah's breath caught in her throat as she saw their eyes, pitch black, devoid of any whites or irises, like endless voids. Fear surged through her, and she stepped back, gripping the door. "I think you should go home now," she said, her voice trembling. The girl stepped closer, her eyes locking onto Sarah's. "We can't come in unless you invite us," she said, her voice now carrying an edge of impatience. Sarah's mind raced. Every instinct told her to slam the door, but she felt an inexplicable pull, a strange compulsion to let them inside. She shook her head, fighting the urge. "No, you need to leave," she managed to say. The children's faces twisted into expressions of anger and disappointment. "Let us in," the boy demanded, his voice growing louder, more insistent. With a surge of strength, Sarah forced the door shut and locked it. She stumbled back, her heart pounding. From the other side, she could hear them knocking again, harder this time, their voices a chorus of eerie pleas. "Let us in." She ran to the phone, dialing 911 with shaking hands. As she waited for the operator, the knocking ceased, and an eerie silence fell over the house. She looked out the window, but saw no sign of the children. When the police arrived, they found no trace of anyone outside. The rain had washed away any footprints, and there were no signs of forced entry. The officers chalked it up to a prank or Sarah's imagination, but she knew what she had seen. That night, as she tried to sleep, she heard a faint tapping on her window. She pulled the covers over her head, praying for morning to come. The last thing she heard before falling into a fitful sleep was a whisper, chilling and relentless. "Let us in."